Hello guys, Tops here. Today I want to show you the polearm one-handed guy. And yeah, it's basically a polearm guy with quick hands, polearm mastery, which reduces the action points of polearm usage to 5. So you can quick hands to a hammer, mace, flail, axe, cleaver if you want, a sword, and you can still attack then with your one-handed weapon. By the way, this works with spears, but also with throwers. So if you want to build a hybrid, you can make a polearm thrower hybrid, basically. This guy, I played a little bit around with the Bro editor. So the stats on this Bro, first and foremost, I think it's a very flexible build because it doesn't need a lot of fatigue in my opinion, you know. You can go, and therefore you can go Battleforge or Nimble. I went for Battleforge here, so kind of more of a frontline build with Underdog, Battleforge, Steel Bro. Of course you can go for Nimble with Dodge if you want to. Yeah, but the requirements are fairly low, but you can make a good bro into this build as well. Yeah, so again, hit points, it's artificially created, but I always aim for 85 plus on Battleforge, on Nimble of course higher, because if you reach 85 plus with Steel Bow, the chance that you get one-shotted doesn't exist anymore. Chosen can't one-shot you anymore, they need 2 shots. Fatigue, this build doesn't need that much fatigue, but still a little bit. I would aim for roughly 50 fatigue usable. If you want to go frontline with this build, you want high melee defense. Melee attack can be a little bit lower because you have a +5 chance to hit on your strike from your polearm. And yeah, the beauty about this, I go for Pathfinder, and then you can become also a one-handed guy. So you can attack then 2 times per turn. So you can get away with a little bit lower melee attack. But I would say, at least for a frontline build, if you don't want to make this guy a backliner, and he's kind of a frontliner because of the one-handed weapon, you want high melee defense. So 30 plus melee defense, I would say. And 50 resolve or something like that. Core perks to make this works is, in my opinion, Pathfinder, because it reduces action points, which has high synergy with polearm mastery, which also reduces action points, so it can walk 2 tiles and attack. Quick hands, of course, because you want to swap your weapons around. For damage, Berserk Killing Frenzy. Defense, I went Battleforge with Underdog, Steel Bro. I go Colossus on every bro, just saying. Same with Student, it's a free perk. If you can afford it, take it. Gifted, if you want, always a good deal. And I know it shows 2 perks, but it's only 1 free perk because, you know, I used to be a different bro. I just tried something with a mod, tried to respec him for this video. And you could go for one of the weapon masteries. Doesn't have that high synergy with a dagger. I think high synergy with mace or hammer can work with axes as well, but axe mastery doesn't do much. So, you know, hammer mastery, for one-handed hammer, It's not that big, you know, so you don't really need to go for weapon mastery, but you can if you want to. You can go for a duelist instead. So if you switch your weapon, you become a one-handed duelist. You can do that. In my opinion, there is a synergy with Headhunter because this one has a bonus chance to it. Of course, this is a famed one. The normal one has a lesser higher chance to hit the head, but still, you could proc Headhunter with the polearm and then use your one-handed hammer to go in, or mace. And what I like about the mace and the hammer is that you have armor damage in your one-handed attacks, and you have reach and fairly high base damage in your two-handed attacks. Not that much armor damage or armor effectiveness on a base polearm. This one is a famed. Yeah, and the beauty is you are very flexible. It's very similar to the Mace Katal build. You have a big two-handed weapon for the bigger opponents, for the reach, you know, for the damage. But you always can transition into a one-handed guy with duelist, you know. Let's take duelist. Yeah, that's how I would build him. Again, requirements, this build has a fairly low floor and a high ceiling, so you can make a very good bro with god stats into him, but I would rather make him a very good bro, a cleaver, or a mace duelist if possible. These builds are kind of designed for bros who are good, but they're missing one stat, you know? So their melee defense is good, but their melee attack isn't that high. So you can't really make him a reliable damage frontline. So having a 4 action point weapon or 2 weapons in general with quick hands, also a weapon that has higher hit chance, kind of counteracts the lower melee skill. So yeah, you can make brothers work that otherwise wouldn't work that well. It's one of these builds. It's again very flexible. Kind of you can act as the Firewatch in the backline and move 2 tiles, attack, stuff like that. You can maybe go for rotation if it's like an early game build and your brother isn't that good, for more utility. Yeah, and always, if stuff breaks down, you can always become a one-handed duelist and smack stuff. So depending on your opponents and the battle, you can use different weapons, and you can be very effective against many different opponents. Yeah. For a background, I would say low bonds can mate into this build if they high roll melee defense. So if you get to like 30 plus melee defense on a brawler or farmand or something like that. But also high bonds who low rolled melee attack or don't have that much HP or stamina can be built into this build. And yeah, I think this is it, actually. There's kind of a meme build where if you trigger Berserk for additional action points, you could theoretically swing twice with your polearm and once with your dagger, if you have dagger mastery, but it's kind of a meme. If you want to build a hybrid, you can go for throwing mastery and pump a lot of points into range skill. So this is nice for a sellsword or some early game builds. Yeah, it's basically the melee version of the polearm crossbow guy that I kind of like for early game. You can make this into polearm one-handed and be very effective. This is maybe a little bit more Battleforge late game oriented overall. Doesn't have, because it's not a hybrid, you just skill melee attack, melee defense, and the other stats. You don't need range skill. So yeah, you're a little bit more, let's say, stronger and useful in late game fights. Especially you are more survivable. Yeah. This is how I would build them. I don't have one in my current run, but I'm thinking about making one because there's a synergy with Headhunter. Yeah. Again, very flexible. You can go for mace, flail, hammer, axe, cleaver, sword, spear if you want. Yeah. Any kind of weapon, one-handed weapon that you have. It's also a good use for these one-handed weapon that are famed, but they don't have additional damage or armor piercing or something. They just have a little bit like -1 fatigue build up or something. And it's not worth to build a brother extra for this weapon, but if you have already a polearm one-handed guy, you can give him these, let's say, not so good famed one-handed items. Yeah, that's another bonus point, let's say. Yeah, I think this is everything I have to say for this guide. There are a lot of perks that can be flexed around as you like it. But Polar Mastery with quick hands is core in combination with Pathfinder because of the action point change. These three are core. So I wouldn't go without them. Or without these 3 perks. The build doesn't work. Everything else can be flexed around. You can go for fearsome, I don't know, headhunter, nimble, dodge, whatever you want. It's up to you. Again, very flexible build. And yeah, this is it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'm gonna see you in the next video. Have a nice day. Bye bye.